can hear me. I've been having a few technical difficulties, but I hope everything is good. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for tuning in. As a matter of fact, if you could, just in the chat, if you can, just to let me know that you do hear me. If you could just drop a thumbs up or just say hello. Just put something in the chat so I know that you can hear me, because as I said earlier, I was having a few technical difficulties. But just drop something in the chat. Crazy day that we're having. It's 2021. This is our first Wednesday Bible study for 2021. And so we praise God for bringing us through, bringing us to this new year. Although we are definitely starting off 2021 with a bang. Unfortunately, there are some things taking place in our world even right now they're despicable, and so all right, good. We got some folks that do hear. Thank you. But I just want to say, it just shows us that we need to be consistently in prayer, that we need to be consistently checking on people and just checking their well-being. We live in a cruel world, and we don't want people to suffer in silence, and we want people to be able to voice their opinions without knocking them down and things of that nature. And so, good. We got some other folks that say they can hear me. All right. Oh, okay. I got the music up too loud. One moment. I do apologize for that. All right. There we go. So, as I was saying, it just shows that we need to make sure that we are just being consistent in how we treat one another. That helps in curtailing the things that we see take place today. But before we get started, I just want to let you know, 2021, we're trying to do things in a better fashion, try to be better in what we're doing. And one of those things, I want you to go and subscribe to we have our YouTube page. And so I would love it if you're able to subscribe to our YouTube page. It's an easy way for you to share too. If you enjoy the Bible studies, or if you think something is beneficial to somebody else, you can always take the YouTube link and you can just easily share that with somebody. So that's kind of an easy way to share. So if you get a chance, subscribe to our YouTube page. It's the Palm Church Miami on YouTube. You'll see the logo when you search for it. But yeah, definitely do that. Check us out via YouTube. And today we're going to deal with goal setting. Usually at the beginning of the year, we consider it a time to restart, right? It's just kind of a agreed upon time. This is the new start, right? Any day can be a new day to start. But we just kind of have an agreed upon time, January 1st here in America. In different places, their New Year starts at a different time. But here in America, we have a new starting point, which starts in January 1st. And so today I just wanted to bring out just a couple of easy points, right? An easy way for us to set some goals, and then not only set the goals, but an easy way for us to help us see our goals through, bring them to the finish line, so that we can accomplish what it is we set out for at the beginning. I know for me, one of my big goals this year is to lose weight. With the pandemic, I picked up several pounds, and I'm truly not proud of it. And I want to lose some weight. So we're going to detail that a little bit more. We're going to talk about these goals, and just losing weight is cool, but we need to be specific as it pertains to losing weight. If I'm going to lose weight, I need to know how much I need to lose, right? Otherwise, that's not a goal at all. One of my favorite people to listen to always talks about writing things down. If you don't write anything down, guess what? That's not a goal at all, right? It's just something just in the air that may never come to fruition. And so we're going to just talk about some simple ways. This shouldn't take too long, but I do think it will benefit you. in regards to your goal setting. So we're going to dive into that. And again, I hope this is beneficial to you. Get out your pen, paper, and we will see what we can do here today. So here we go. How to set goals, right? How to set goals. And again, it's not just setting the goal, but it's setting the goal and accomplishing the goal. You may have one goal or multiple goals, but again, you need to make sure that you write that goal down, and you need to make sure that you see that goal through. And so let's look at one moment. Sorry. Okay, here we go. I'm back. All right. So goal setting, right? So setting goals, first of all, you need to know it's biblical, right? So successful people set goals. When we talk about successful people, I'm not talking about somebody with a lot of money or anything of that nature. I'm talking about somebody who accomplishes tasks. That is what's called successful, right? And so successful people, and any person can be successful. But to be successful, one way is to write it down, right? Have a plan. So write it down. So goal setting is biblical. It is something that successful people do. It's wise, right? Again, we talked about when you write something down, it's kind of dictating where it is you want to go, right? And so it's wisdom in writing that down, is wisdom in having a goal. And we're going to look at in the future what the Bible actually talks about also regarding setting goals. So goal setting is wise, and it's also biblical. But then when we talk about setting our goals and being successful and all these other types of things, the other thing that we want to make sure is that our goals line up with God's will. Like, you don't want to have a goal, that is, profane, right? Say, for instance, your goal is to rob 10 banks. That would be a goal that's outside of the will of God. So as a believer, as a follower of Christ, you want to make sure that you write down a goal that is within God's will. I mentioned losing weight. That would be within the wheelhouse of God's will, right? Because he wants us to take care of our bodies. And so you want to make sure that your goal lines up with the will of God and it doesn't violate his character. Whatever goal that you have, it shouldn't violate the Lord's character. So again, you're not setting up goals that are profane, but you're setting up goals that honor him as well as yourself. All right. And then you want to know the purpose of your goal too. How does this fit into your overall life? How does this fit into the overall scheme of things and what you have going on, right? So I know I was reading something earlier today about retirement, and it talked about a 20-year-old investing $2,000 at 20 years old and monthly depositing $250 into a retirement account. At 20 years old, right? If that person were to get to 65, he would be at $1,300,000, right? Now you take the same person who starts out at 25, and that person will be short of that $1,300,000 by $300,000. And so by having a goal, you can see it gives you a future picture. And so you want to know, does this goal meet the overall purpose of your life? So that's very, very important. And then the cool thing about setting goals is not only will you be amazed by just reaching the goal, but you'll be amazed by the journey. I remember the first time I set out to lose weight and get in shape. It was cool. It was kind of tedious. I know for a fact I got on my wife's nerves because I kept on asking her, how am I doing? How am I doing? How do I look? How do I look? Right? But it was an amazing journey. So you appreciated what you had to go through in order to reach your actual goal. So these are just some things that we need to first understand. That setting goals is definitely biblical, is definitely wise. You want to make sure that it lines up with God's will, that it has an overall fit in your entire life. And what you need to make sure you do is that you appreciate the journey, right? The destination is definitely going to be great, but you definitely want to appreciate the journey. And I have just an easy acronym. I didn't invent this. This is kind of an old acronym, but it's very, very helpful as it pertains to goal setting. And it's called SMART, right? SMART. That's the acronym for goal setting. And when we talk about being smart as it pertains to goal setting, we talk about the S standing for being specific, right? You want to be specific. Goals are well defined, right? And they're clear on what needs to be accomplished. What outcomes do you need to see in order to consider the goal accomplished, right? You need to be specific. As I just mentioned, I wanted to lose some weight. That sounds great. You know, you walk up to somebody, yeah, I want to lose weight. Losing weight is cool, but you need to say, I need to lose 50 pounds or I need to lose 30 pounds. You weigh yourself, you write that down, and then you, every week by week, you see how much you have lost, you know, from when you first weighed in. So with the goal, you need to make sure that you are specific. I know in financial planning, they always ask you, how much would you like to make in your retirement? That's the question they generally ask you. And the reason they ask that question is they need to know how they can best help you. How can I help you reach that goal? If we don't have a number, we'll never hit, you know, we'll never reach what it is you need in your retirement years. And so we need to make sure that when you set a goal, that you are specific. Goals need to be well defined and clear on what needs to be accomplished. So that's very, very important. Next, the M in SMART stands for measurable, right? So goals enable you to evaluate whether or not the goal was achieved or not. How will you decide whether the goal is completed or not, right? So goals need to be measurable, right? They need to be measurable. That's kind of what helps you evaluate. We talking about being specific, right? Meaning I need to lose 50 pounds. But then during that process, you need to be able to measure that. Where am I at right now? I used to be at 260. Now I'm at 240. I'm on my way, 30 more pounds to go. That is helping you along the way. All of these things are cheerleaders, right? As it pertains to reaching your overall goal. So we need to be specific. We need to have goals that are measurable. We need to have goals that are achievable, right? So goals are realistic about what is possible, given the availability of resources, knowledge, and time. As I said a while ago, my first time I really wanted to get in shape and work out and all those types of things, man, it was a learning curve. I didn't realize that getting in shape had more to do with knowledge than anything else. I was doing all of these other things. I was going every day, working out in the gym, just working all body parts and all these other types of things. But then when I started studying some guys who were in great shape, they disseminated important information, eat this way, work this body part this day. As soon as I started taking in that information, the goal became achievable. Me getting in shape became achievable. But prior to that, without having information and the proper resources, I was in trouble. I was just working, not seeing anything. And so when we have goals, we want to make sure that our goals are achievable. They have to be realistic, right? And possible. You can't say, hey, this year, you know, if you weigh 300 pounds, you say, this year I want to weigh, 130 pounds. That's probably not going to happen unless you get really, really sick. That is not going to happen. Physiologically, you would not be able to lose all of that weight just by working out and things of that nature. It's going to take a whole lot. It will be a process that takes quite a bit of time. And so we want to be realistic. I can't say this year I want to save $1 million. That's going to be tough, unless I get a windfall of money. That would be quite tough to save $1 million in just this year, right? So for some, it may be possible. It depends on your resources. LeBron James, it would be nothing for him. I'm going to save $1 million this year. But for myself, it would be a different story. So we want to make sure that our goals are achievable, right? So they should be realistic and based on the given availability of resources and knowledge, right? And time, very, very key, right? Ask yourself, how likely is it that I can accomplish this actual goal? So then you want to make sure that your goal is relevant. Does it make a difference to your overall objective if this goal is met, right? So does it make a difference at all? So by you losing 50 pounds, how would that benefit, right, you in general? For me, it's a benefit. It's an investment to my family, right? It's possible that can add a number of years to my life, giving me more time with my family. It's cool to be in shape. You might go on vacation or something of that nature, and you want to be able to enjoy yourself. You don't always want to be fatigued and can't participate in anything because you're out of shape. So you want to make sure that your goal is relevant, right, to your overall objectives. You can just fill in the blank based on relevancy, right? So how does this fit into what it is you want to do? So does it make a difference to your overall objectives if this goal is met? Very, very, very excellent question, right? That's something you want to always consider. And then last but not least, the whole T, right? The T in SMART is timeliness, right? Goals lock goals into a specific time frame, and they specify, right, when they will be completed by. When do you need the goal completed? That's the question you need to ask yourself. When you set a goal, you need to make sure it is timely. You need to put a date on it. I want to have done this by this period of time. If you don't attach a time period to it, let me tell you, it'll just be a floating goal. It's almost like not writing it down because there is not anchored to anything. When you set a goal, you need to say, I need to have this done by this specific time. If not, when you get to that time period, you need to reevaluate. What have you been doing? How can you switch up in order to meet your goal? And then if necessary, adjust the time. So you'll go back in and you'll adjust that time frame in order for you to meet the goal. But it's imperative that you write down, if you have a goal, write down when you want this particular goal to be completed. It's essential. I can't tell you how important that is. So those are just those points there, the whole SMART acronym, the whole idea of a goal being specific, a goal being measurable, a goal being achievable, a goal being relative, and then that last one, the T, a goal being timely, right? So that's the whole SMART acronym. And there's just one last component to this. Again, as this is a Bible study, as what we're talking about is biblical, I want to show you just one more component. Let's look at the goal ingredients, right? So when we talk about setting a goal and all this other type of things, there are some certain ingredients that are important to goal setting. And those are, one, faith, right? Do you believe God enough to accomplish this goal? One of the things I've been struggling with even now in regards to just losing weight is, Lord, can I get back to what I used to be, right? Can I muster up the energy? Can I persevere to do the work necessary to lose weight, to eat right, all of those other types of things? And so I have constant conversations with the Lord. I'm praying about my goal. I'm praying about my weight loss. So faith is a component of goal setting, right? Whatever your goal might be, you're still going to need the Lord. You're still going to have to confer with him about this goal. He's the one that can cheerlead you best of all to the completion of your goal. So faith is going to be important. Humility is going to be important. Recognizing that you are not where you need to be, right? Recognizing that you need advice along the road, right? Hence the fact that when I was first trying to get in shape, as I told you, I went to the internet. I went to YouTube. What are the guys who are in shape? What information can they give me? I don't know it all. And so once I received the information, again, it helped me immediately. There was a immediate change. So we need to be humble as we set our goals. People are there to walk with you through these processes. So have faith. You need to be humble. You need to have commitment, right? You got to be dedicated to it. Having that thing written down, putting it on a wall so you can look at it on a regular basis, so you can see your goal. Writing down what you've been through, what you have experienced will help you to continue on. It'll show you how to be committed. For me, again, with the weight loss thing, it was the mirror. Looking in the mirror, looking on the scale and seeing what has happened, the transformation, it actually caused me to commit further. I was like, yes, I'm doing this. Let me lock in now and get to the point where I need to go. So you got to have faith. You got to be humble. You need to be committed. Don't just have this thing waving in the air. You need to make sure that you follow through. You need to be diligent, right? Working on it on a regular basis. You got to not just say, I'm going to do it today and then not tomorrow. You need to be diligent. Being committed means being diligent. You need to make sure that there's some stick-to-itiveness. You're saying, I'm going to see this thing through and I'm going to work on it minute by minute, right? There's the classic adage of how do you eat an elephant? You know, nobody eats elephants, but they say, you know, one piece at a time. And that's true. And so you want to make sure that you are diligent in this whole situation. You want to persevere because it's going to get tough. There's those days where you've been doing good for a whole month. And then that one day you wake up and you're like, man, I'm not going to the gym today. I refuse to go to the gym today because I'm tired. I refuse to go because I don't see enough transformation. I give up, right? I'm trying to save this $1 million, but I'm about $999 short of $1 million. I give up, right? And so you need to make sure that you persevere, that you continue to fight on a regular basis in order to reach your goal, because it's going to be tough. There is going to be some dark days where you're going to want to give up. But then you need to make sure that you are discerning of the Lord's will as it pertains to goal setting. Like I said, what's a goal for somebody else may not be a goal for you. You need to have that conference with the Lord and say, Lord, do you have this for me to do, right? And so if he is the one who lays that on your heart, then you make sure that you follow through with that. So you want to make sure that you practice with faith and humility and commitment and diligence and perseverance, because if it's the Lord's will, he will give you those tools to follow through. As I said earlier, he is going to be your grandest cheerleader as you goal set. So make sure that you have that conference with him first and foremost as it pertains to your goals. And then last but not least, we've been harping on this the whole time, but it's the whole idea of planning. You need to write it down, make it public, have an accountability partner. You know, I have mine on Google Keep. I use Google Keep, and I have written all my 2021 goals on there. They're specific. They're in front of me. I can see them wherever I am. They're on my computer, on my phone. My wife is aware of my goals. I have a buddy who knows about my goals, and we hold each other accountable. So you need to also make sure that you, in your planning also dictates accountability. Have somebody that's going to hold your feet to the fire. So those are the ingredients for setting a goal. And so I want to give you a couple of messages real quick from the scriptures. Just want to read to you just a few passages here. And Luke chapter 14, 28, it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower, right? Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? So this is Jesus talking to the people, and he's saying, listen, in anything in life, you consider the cost of it, right? You sit down and you think it through, and in order to see that thing through, you need to count the upfront cost, or otherwise you're not going to complete it. And so goal setting is all these things that we discussed. It's about counting the cost, planning it out so that you can see it through to the very end. Look at 2 Chronicles 15, verse 7. It says, but as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded. This is encouraging you along the way. Be strong, don't give up. At the very end, you will reap the reward. I say this again, and I hate to look back, but it's all I have right now. But I never forget trying to get into shape. I used to get up at 5 in the morning. I was in seminary at the time, trying to get a master's degree. I got to the gym every morning, 5 days a week at 6 a.m., worked out for an hour, went to my 8 o'clock class, right? Put in the work. I saw the benefits. After about the 3-month mark, I saw the benefits. And all it did was spur me on to keep on going. And so all I'm trying to tell you is be strong. Do not give up. You will see the reward. And you can apply this to whatever your goal might be. Last but not least, I want you to consider, when we talk about goal setting and things of that nature, hold your goals loosely in a way. Now, we've been talking about being diligent and persistent and all that, but hold your goals loosely in this regard. James 4, 13 and 15 just talks about our lifespan. So we need to be sensitive to that. James 4, 13 and 15 says, now listen, you who say today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there, carry on business and make money, right? That's a lot of our conversation. Hey, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do that. Tomorrow I'm gonna go over there and do blah, 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 blah. Look what James says. He says, why do you not even know what will happen tomorrow? What is your life? He tells you what your life is. James says, you are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. I want you to pause and think about that. James says that your life is a mist. Think about what a mist is. It's just a little squirt of water, right? That fades away so quickly in a matter of milliseconds. A mist disappears. And so James is communicating that your life is a mist that appears for a little while and then it vanishes. That's our lives, right? And so he says, instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this or that. I never forget, that was one of my grandmother's famous statements, Lord willing, right? Lord willing. Or you would hear people say, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. And their reply generally is, if the creek don't rise, right? And they're communicating that if I'm not here tomorrow, it's possible that I may not be here tomorrow. And so we need to understand our lives and that our lives are nothing more but a mist. So in the nature of setting goals and things of that matter, hold them loosely, but still have a plan. As the Bible even communicates, it says a righteous man's steps are ordered by the Lord. And so a lot of our goal setting is just God communicating to us his will. And we need to make sure that we follow through in those particular areas. So just want to thank you again for tuning in. Truly appreciate you. I know today is a very interesting day as we talk about goal setting. But it's fitting because in light of chaos and turmoil, you still need to follow through on your goals. Nothing should rock your boat. Even what we see taking place in the world today, even with the pandemic, even with, civil unrest, don't let that throw you off your rocker, right? Don't let that knock you off from completing your goal. In my Bible study reading today, I'm in Deuteronomy, and it was so funny what God said to Moses. Moses and those guys were getting ready to enter into the promised land. And as they were getting ready to enter into the promised land, God had to tell Moses, he said, hey man, you forgot what I did for you in the past. In the midst of your enemies, I was still protecting you, and I brought you all the way to this point. And we need to remember that in the midst of our turmoil, in the midst of everything that's taking place right now, God has carried you to the point that you're at right now. Even for somebody who doesn't know the Lord, God has carried you to this point for the very purpose that you might reflect and understand that it was Him who was carrying you along. And so I say all that to say, don't let anything disturb you from your goals. Whatever goals you set for 2021, make sure you see them all the way through. In the chat, you can drop, one of the goals you want to set for this year. If you have a goal that you have thought about and you know what it is, drop it in the chat. That's something I can pray about for you and just encourage you along the way. But remember that acronym. SMART is the acronym, and it will carry you a long way. Very easy to remember. Got to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Guys, that is my time for today. Truly appreciate you all. God is good and faithful. I see some of the goals coming up in the chat. Definitely be praying for those goals. That's good. And just remember, the Lord loves you. He is somebody that sees you. Even the smallest things He is concerned about. And so don't think that anything is small before His eyes. If it's on your mind and it's righteous and good, God sees it, and God understands it and wants you to talk to Him about it. So just want you to be blessed, and we will see you on Sunday. We have our Sunday service. It's 10 o'clock. I had to think about that. 10 o'clock on Sundays. We'll be finishing up a series on baptism. We'll be talking about the motive of baptism, last part of that particular series. So join us on Sunday. Tell your friends about us. Like this. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, if you want to share this information with a friend, you can just send it out via YouTube. Check the YouTube channel, and just tell people about the ministry. Our goal is to help people walk with the Lord. We want them to thrive in life, and we want to make sure that we proclaim Christ. So y'all be blessed, be good, and I will see you good people on Sunday. Lord willing, if you can, come back next Wednesday, 6:30, we have our Bible studies. So y'all be good, be blessed, y'all. Y'all have a good one.